Hey everyone, good morning. Okay, let me just double check, make sure I am also live on my personal page, and here I am. So I use this great tool called StreamYard, um, which allows me to go live in multiple places because I'm all about repurposing. So I go live on my personal page, I go live in my private group, and I go live on my YouTube channel, which keeps me from having to share and download and reload and all of that. And it's pretty amazing if I do say so myself. So, um, yeah, everything's working. So today I want to talk to you about something that's actually been pretty alive in the last few weeks. I think it's always alive around the summer because we so want to be, as entrepreneurs, we so want to be outside having fun, being with people. I think it's especially true this summer because we've just gone through COVID where we've been cooped up. So now it's like, hey, I really want to be out there. I really want to be having some fun. Um, and so there's always this sense of feeling pulled between showing up for our business and doing what we need to do, and also creating space for what we love. And it's interesting, I feel like a lot of us are sent a message that they can't go together, that if you make space for what you love and what matters, then you're going to negatively affect your business. And that's actually not true. I've actually found that it's the opposite. Um, I had this conversation with a client a couple weeks ago where she was telling me how she caught herself because I do a lot of awareness work about like our inner workings, but she was messaging a potential client, and when she pressed the send, she like caught herself saying, "I hope she doesn't respond." And she was kind of shocked by that response. And so she and I went into it a little bit and started delving as to what's going on here. How come she's doing this work to connect and reach out to someone? And there's something inside her, there's a part of her that doesn't want this person to respond. And when I checked in with her, I'm realizing my phone's not connected to battery. I better do that just in case. Um, when she and I looked at that, then, you know, she realized that part of her was really resenting having to spend all this time on a computer when really what she wanted to do was be out there, be with her kids, be like having fun, doing things she enjoyed, and not spending so much time on her business. And so I was able to go in there with her and kind of decide, look at her business and decide, okay, what are the things you want to just start, like, what are the things that are most draining, the least fun, and they're not getting you the result anyways? And you want to start releasing some of that, at least until, maybe fall comes up, and just spend more time on what you love and what you enjoy. And she was able to do that and get a few hours back of her life. And then it's almost like that sabotage, that resistance that she had about showing up and reaching out to people dropped because she was able to figure out where to get some time and what it is that she really didn't want to be doing right now and what it is that lit her up. So that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to share with you some of the things I've let go of that have made a huge difference in my life and my business. And we're just going to talk a little bit about the inner stuff, as well as the actual tangible outer stuff that we can release. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ilsa Camtiader. I help spiritually conscious, soulful, service-based entrepreneurs. So therapists, transformational coaches, healers, holistic practitioners, wisdom teachers, wellness coaches, like people who essentially are here. They offer service. They work with people to transform their lives and change the world. That's what I do. And I help them to find their own aligned way to more clients with a lot more ease, because that's what we all want. We want more clients, and we want a lot more ease, and we want them faster, and we want to get fully booked with high quality clients. So let me know where you're watching this from. Say hi to me if you are live. I am in amazing, beautiful, lovely Boulder, Colorado. and it is a gorgeous day out there today. Oh, and our AC guy is here fixing the AC, so hopefully there won't be a bunch of noise and there won't be dogs barking in the background. And if they are, that is life, and you will forgive me, I am sure. So, yes, say hi to me. Let me know where you're watching from, and then we'll get going. Oh, the last thing I want to tell you before I get going is I'm planning on doing a free 1 day retreat at some point, probably at the end of August, maybe early September. I'm going to see how the timing works. But this, I'm calling it Client Overflow, and this is going to be essentially a marriage of energy and strategy to attract clients every month with ease so that you can fill your schedule in a way that feels really aligned, really good. So if that's interesting to you and you'd like me to put you on the list and let you know when that's happening, just put hashtag retreat. It's free, and we will do a lot of some really cool energy stuff and mindset stuff, as well as I'll give you some actual tangible strategy for reaching out and finding your ideal clients out there. So hashtag retreat if you want to be included in that. All right, so let's get started. If you're just joining, I see a few more people. Say hi. Let me know where you're watching this from. So the things to consider is that I talk a lot about allowing what's possible for us to have space for what's possible for us to have space for creativity, for new ideas. It's almost impossible to do that if we don't feel expanded. Like growth, success requires space. Creativity requires space. Alignment, knowing what's going to work for you, knowing what's going to feel really good to you, requires space. And in our business, if we don't enjoy what we're doing and we don't make space for what we love, then we end up either not getting the results we want, or we end up sabotaging ourselves. We actually sabotage our success. So this is where creating space is so important. One, because let's be honest, if you don't love what you're doing, if you don't love your business, if you're not having a really great time of it, and I don't just mean making the money you want to make. Of course, that's part of it. But I mean more than that. I mean actually enjoying the process, not just the process of working with clients. All of us who are soulful entrepreneurs enjoy working with clients. That's why we became entrepreneurs. That's why we do what we do. We love to deliver and work with people. But that's not what a business is. There's so much more to a business. A business is marketing. A business is reaching out. A business is following up. A business is, to some degree, like all the things it takes to sustain and maintain the work. And so it's our job as essentially the CEO of our business to make sure that we're loving it. Because if not, we're going to sabotage it and we're going to go nowhere. And all the time I've got people reaching out to me who say, hey, I'm reaching out to you because I'm thinking maybe I should just go back and get a regular job. Like, this is a lot harder than I thought it would be, and I'm not enjoying it. And the thing I used to love to do, I almost don't love to do anymore because of everything else. So as a soulful entrepreneur, as a soulful leader, you have to figure out what you need to let go of that's not aligned, and what you need to do more of that's actually going to not only get you results, but also allow you to enjoy the process, because without that, there's no business that's going to last long term. And a lot of us as entrepreneurs, like, there's this whole thing about hustling and doing and doing and doing. So it's always like what we must do, how we must show up to be successful. And we all get caught up about, like, what do I need to do next? How do I make this better? How do I make this post better? How do I add to my program so it's more robust? What should I post about? What should I go live about? What else can I do to engage people? And so it's all about more, and what next marketing tactic we want to do, which there's a place for that, but we get caught up in that hustle and that grind. And we literally lose touch with our own innate wisdom, our own sense of rightness. And then we go in a direction that actually doesn't feel good. And then we wonder why either we're not getting results, or even if we are getting result, we're not enjoying it. So, can you relate to that at all? Can like, do any of you get caught up in that doing, and feeling like you spend more time in front of the computer and in front trying to figure out what you're going to do next than you would actually want to? If that feels like you, then just say yes or something. Um, yeah, what do I need to be? And Sharon says, I often don't, I often ask myself, what do I need to be? That's right. Success is about being, is about how we're going to show up. Um, it's interesting because when it comes to the rest of life, most of us know how to do this, right? Like before you get dressed up with a new outfit, you take the old one off. You take a shower. You wash off the grind. You get in a line, and then you put on a new outfit. Before we build a house, we clear the land. We clear the land of debris. We clear the land of trash. We get things straightened up before we put on the next step. I feel like we don't often do that in our business. We don't figure out what we need to let go of before we add another thing. And then we wonder why it feels like this weird tower that's about to collapse and nothing makes sense and nothing goes together. So our business is the same. Like essentially, we've got to figure out what we need to let go of that is not the right foundation for where we want to go. So if you've got a faulty foundation, if you've got a messy foundation, then you can't build anything on top of that. And part of what we have to clean up is both internal stuff and external stuff. So there's like the internal stuff of, like past thoughts and beliefs that don't serve us, people's opinion, what you've been told and what you've read that doesn't feel good or doesn't feel aligned. And we've got to essentially like let go of all of that so that we can figure out what's right for us. Because if we're always following somebody else's way, then it's never going to actually work for us. So that's part of the process is internally is figuring out what wounds, what betrayals, what disappointment, what fears do we need to let go of, like fear of failure, fear of success. It's actually pretty real out there. Fear of looking stupid, fear of being judged or rejected or criticized, fear of not fitting in, fear of not being good enough. I mean, by the way, I don't know a single person who doesn't have some of these to some degree or another. Do you have any of those? Can you relate to any of that? And the reason we want to look at the internal aspect is because when we look at the internal aspect, that's when we can start showing up fully and powerfully in the present and essentially serve our asses off. For me, which I find interesting, we always do, I think we serve people in the way that we have needed and sometimes still need to be served. I find myself having a fear of being seen all the time. And I actually find myself having a fear of success and a fear of not having enough energy if I'm successful, not having enough time, having to give up all the free time and freedom that I enjoy so much. Those are aspects of fear of success. But I'm very aware of them, and I'm very aware of how they get in my way to say yes to an opportunity or to reach out to someone or to try something new or to start something. And so that's my invitation to you, is to really look at what are some of the gremlins, the inner gremlins that essentially are there in the background. They're kind of the foundation of what you do. And they're making the foundation of what you're trying to create very topsy-turvy, very unstable, very uncomfortable. In many ways, when we're still talking about the internal here, in many ways, we've got to let go of who we've been and in some ways who we are now so we can make space for who we're meant to become. Because that's the thing about business, is it's not that your business grows and evolves. It's actually that you grow and evolve and your business grows and evolves with you. You are your business. My coach likes to say, you are the sales page. Like, I have this great coach who's totally into as keep it as simple as possible, which is why that's what I teach. But part of what she teaches is that your business is as good as you are. The energy, the vibe of your business, the confidence of your business is as good as you are. You are the sales page, you are your business. So we let go of who we've been. We let go of what's held us down, what's kept us small, what's kept us hidden, what's kept us silent. And we let go of that, and we let go of where we're at now so that we can fully and start becoming and stepping into who we want to become, who we were born to become, and who we need to become to have the impact that we want on the world and to start making the income that we want to make in our lives and create the lifestyle that we want to create as well. So, success in many ways is letting go of control, letting go of the outcome, and surrendering to what is possible, to who we're becoming, and surrendering sometimes when it's difficult to let go of things, surrendering to something bigger than ourselves, surrendering to spirit, surrendering to life, however you want to call it, whatever feels right to you. I'm looking at comments. Now, Ralph says, fear of not being enough to express and share. Yeah. Fear of not being enough, fear that our message is not going to be understood, fear that we're not going to have the right words to say it. And yet, if you're watching this because you know that you were born for this. You know that you were born to serve. You know that you were born to change and impact the world in some ways. And that desire is stronger than your fear. And in some ways, that's what courage is. Courage happens, action happens when we are more aligned with our desire to serve and impact than we are aligned with our fear and our desire to stay safe. And then the last thing I'm going to say internally in terms of the stuff, I was going to say the shit we have to let go of. It's shit. That's an appropriate word. But the last thing we need to let go of is perfection. Truth is, we're all coming into our own. I'm coming into our own. I look at people. I was looking at a video from my coach from 3 years ago or 2 years ago, and I can tell she's a different person. Now, this is a woman who's been in business for 15 years and has been a coach and has been online for 10 years. So she's not new at this. And I could still see how even in the last 2 years, she has grown, she has evolved, her message has evolved, her personality, her embodiment of her own sovereignty has evolved. There's no perfection here. Like, we essentially have to step into where we are at and what we can be, and what we're tasting is coming next, and move from that place. I'm sure you've heard this before. Done is better than perfect. Be in action. Let go of the things that tell you that you're not ready, you're not good enough, you still need to do X, Y, Z, and essentially step fully into serving and showing up with where you're at now, and letting go of anything that tells you that you are either not good enough or not ready, and acting despite that. Yep, we can't get there without moving, says Sharon. I agree. So, ask yourself, what is it that you need to let go of so you can create more space for what you want? What are you no longer willing to tolerate? What doesn't feel good or drains you? Figure what that is and decide whether or not you actually need to keep it, and if you think, and where that idea comes from. So the answer might be internal, like we've talked about. Maybe there's an internal thing you need to let go of, a belief, a way of looking at things, a perspective that's just not serving you. Like the perspective, for example, I don't have anybody who will pay me to work with me in my circle. That's bullshit. Everyone I meet feels that way. I have felt that way at some point. And then we all find clients that are right around us. So that might be something to let go of. Sometimes the thing we need to let go of or release or clean up is external. So maybe it's a marketing strategy that you're using that does not feel good, and you've been pushing and pushing, trying to do something that doesn't feel good. Maybe it's a way you're selling that drains your soul. Maybe it's like all the content. When I started this, I was told I needed to post on Facebook a minimum of 3 times a day to reach people and grow my business. And I did that for a little while. And I hated every minute of it. For me, social media is a way of connecting with people, and it is a necessary aspect of growing a business online. But I do not want to spend my life looking at a screen. And I brought it back down to I'm going to post once a day. And then I brought it back down to I'm going to post 5 to 6 times a week. And then I brought it back down to something like, I'm going to have one theme and I'm going to go live once a week. And then I'm going to make a couple posts around that theme. And maybe here and there I might post a quote or I might do something like that. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear the dogs. But anyways, you want to essentially do what feels good for you and figure out what you need to let go of, so that you can actually enjoy the process. Because I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how often you go live, how many times you post. If it doesn't light you up, if it doesn't inspire you, then it's not going to work. Like, that's not going to work for you, and you're not going to actually attract the clients you want to attract. So for me, for example, I'm going to give you a personal example. Some of you know I'm also a licensed therapist. So that's how I started into this. That's how I started taking a lot of marketing courses and working in this. Is I'm a licensed therapist, and that was my main business. So my life changed when I decided to do a few things. One, I decided I was no longer interested in working with couples. There was something about their nastiness, the pettiness, the drama, the meanness that just drained the life out of me. I did not enjoy it. Second, I decided I was not working like outside of the range that I wanted to work. I used to work as early as 8 a.m. and as late as 9 p.m. I used to work on weekends. Like, whenever a client was available, I would make it as easy as possible for them to work with me. And I was available at all times of day and night, technically. At some point, I was like, you know what? I'm not doing that. I need my weekends. I don't want to work before 9 a.m. and I don't want to work past 5:30. And you know what? I don't want to work more than 3 client hours a day. And I made like a strong decision that I was letting go. If people didn't want to work within that, then I would refer them somewhere else. And I'm going to tell you what, for every client I lost, I got 2 more that were better clients. That was also the time where I started bringing my fees up and everything aligned. It's like almost like as I started saying no to what I didn't want and yes to what I wanted, it's almost like I was telling life, I'm ready. I'm ready to honor myself. I'm ready to do really amazing work. I'm ready to come into myself, and life started bringing me clients. The more I said no to what I don't want, and the more I said yes to myself, to what honored me, to what lit me up, the more clients started coming my way. And these were high quality, committed clients who didn't mind paying to work with me, who did the work, who showed up ready, had done the homework. And everything changed. What was a drag, what was a chore, was suddenly a joy. So, figuring out what we need to let go of out there in our business and in our lives. I'm going to give you another simple example. My biggest months that I had in business came after I did a massive cleanup in my office. I literally reorganized my office. I went through all my papers, everything that was super old. I had piles of shit everywhere. I went through my piles. I organized them. I created space. I made a nice background. I essentially made it nice for me to be in my office, for my clients to speak to me on Zoom. And when I did that, it's almost like I created space for more things to come my way. And I think my income the months after that was doubled what it had been the month prior. So sometimes it's not just what we need to let go of in here, or even what kind of clients we don't want to work with. Sometimes it's as simple as literally cleaning up. So expansion needs space, growth needs space, creativity needs space. Yeah, Sharon says such a great example. Yep, it's so true. Wardrobe. Like look at everything that does not light you up, does not bring you joy. Get rid of it. Replace it with what feels more aligned to you. I was talking to a client. This was a while ago. This was maybe 3 months ago, and he always came up on businesses and on calls with us with like almost like a three-piece suit. Like he had a tie, he had a jacket, and I had this view of him. This is a local client, and then I met him on like with his family um, downtown, and we were, they were going to dinner or something, and this guy was like wearing shorts. Actually, he wasn't wearing shorts. He was wearing something like super laid back, like khakis and a t-shirt and flip-flops. It was one of those weird, like super warm. I think it was in May. It was a weird, like super warm May day. Um, and I remember on our call after, I said to him, I it was so weird seeing you this relaxed, this laid back. Are you more a suit guy or are you more a laid back guy? And he was like, oh no, I'm a jeans and t-shirt guy. It's just I have to show up professionally. And I was like, says who? Like if that's what you like and it makes you feel like it allows you to embody a sense of sovereignty and your credibility and your authority, by all means, go all ahead. But if it makes you feel stuffy and uncomfortable, that might actually be getting in your way of you attracting clients because it's actually not who you are. Like we're back to you have to let go of who you think you should be. You have to let go of who you've been so you can show up and be as fully as possible who you are and who you're meant to be. And interestingly enough, he started like slowly, like he dropped the tie. He started showing up a little more relaxed, a little button open, and things have been flowing. He's having more fun. He's bringing in more money. He's having more clients. So we have to look at this in a very wide manner because it could be internal. It could be literally something tangible in our lives that we were spending our time online or our marketing strategy. Or it could be some weird, subtle thing that we've bought into. Like, I need to look professional. I mean, you can't see me, but I'm wearing cutoffs and I'm barefoot and I'm wearing a tank top, like this is who I am. I'm going to show, oh, and I've got my knee up on my chair. Like I'm going to show up as comfortably as I can so that I can be as me as I can. And my goal is as I evolve as a human and as a practitioner, as a coach, as a therapist, I will show up more and more like myself. So as we make space for what is true for us, as we make space for what feels good for us, as we start honoring ourselves by saying no, by letting go of what no longer serves us or fulfills us or lights us up, then we start activating something. We activate our own sovereignty. We activate our inner wisdom. We activate the future that we are destined for. We activate our magnifying magical abilities to bring in clients. And we activate creativity. That's when new ideas flow on how to reach people, what new things to try, what direction, clarity becomes available to us. So I'm inviting you to really honor yourself, honor where you are, honor what feels good, and to actually take full responsibility for how you feel, the results you're getting, and to start cleaning house. Start cleaning up internally and externally, letting go of what is not aligned. What have you got to lose? Do it for a month and then see what kind of difference you see in your business and in your life. Because this isn't just about business, this is about loving our lives. And make sure you're saying no to clients who are not the right fit for you. Make sure you're saying no to marketing strategies that don't feel right to you. Make sure you're saying no to naysayers and yes, but people and people stuck in victimhood. Anything that's going to bring you down, anything that's going to make you feel small or drained, say no to, because the more no's you say, the more space you have for yeses. Um, and stop following. This is one of mine actually, so you can take it or not. But one of the things I said no to that changed everything for me is I started saying no to following all the shiny objects. I started saying no to every ad on my feed. We've all seen them. Like, I think there's more ads on our feeds than there are like friends stuff on there. But saying no to every new masterclass, every new challenge, every new training, thinking I'm going to learn something, thinking that might be a shift I need. Like, I said no to all that stuff, and I started going in. I started going in to figure out what should I do next. I started asking myself a really interesting question. And that question was, if I was my own client, what would I recommend I do? And it's funny how we always have answers for our own clients. We always know what to do for our friends. We always know what to do for others, but sometimes we're stuck. That's because we're so full of what's not ours. We're so full of other people's stuff, other people's beliefs, other people's opinions, other people's guidance that we can't find our own. We're so full of shit around us that is not really who we are and what we want, that we can't actually find our own way home. We can't find our own way to what's going to work for us. So start saying no to following everything else and start saying yes to you. And before you decide, oh, I'm going to try this, so I'm going to do that, check in first. Does this feel right for me? Does this feel aligned with me? And then if it does, and you will know, because when it's a yes, it feels expansive. It's easy to breathe. It feels kind of fun. It feels delightful in some way. It feels exciting. It feels new. It feels fresh. When it's a no, it feels draining. It feels like a chore. It feels tight. You know, fun is a great way. Your business should be fun. Like, what is fun in your business and what isn't fun? If it's not fun, now fun doesn't mean that it's always going to be great. Like, this is actually kind of fun, but I'm still stressed out every time I'm going live. It's probably not what I'm most comfortable with. But tell you what, weirdly, it's actually more fun to do this with you than it is to write up a bunch of posts and post it on Facebook. This feels actually more fun to me, even though it's more stressful. So fun doesn't automatically mean what's easiest, but it can mean what's exciting, what's, challenging, what's a new way where we're growing in some ways. Okay, I'm looking at my notes. I think this is basically it. Make sure that before you build the foundation of your business, you clean house. You figure out, what am I holding on to in here or in here that's going to get in my way, that's going to keep me playing small, keep me silent, keep me not feeling good enough or ready enough. What's going to keep me from reaching out to people? And then figuring out what you need to change in your environment to create more space, more positivity, more joy in your environment, because we are beings that are engaged in our environment. If I'm working in an office that has no light and has a bunch of mess everywhere, that's where I'm supposed to be meeting with clients or going live, that's going to affect how I show up. It's just natural. So making sure that we do what feels right and what feels good to us, and we create space to do that. I'll give you another last example that's mine. For a long time, I felt like I don't have what it takes to do this online thing. I don't have the energy. I'm just not wired for it. I'm not super, first of all, I'm actually an introvert. I need a ton of time for me. I'm probably sensitive and empath. I need a lot of space. What business do I have going on live, being on social media? I'm kind of boring. Like, I don't have this exciting life where I'm going to be able to put picture of myself doing this or doing that, or being in tops of mountains, or like, that's just not who I am. When I'm not working, I'm hanging out in my yard with my dogs reading a book. And so I used to have this thing where I used to say, I don't have the energy for this. And I realized to what degree every time I was going to do something that felt a little different, that felt a little difficult, that felt like I was stretching myself, I would like get drained. And then one day I caught that thought, oh, I just don't have the energy for this. And I was like, you know what? That's bullshit. I've got tons of energy. I've got tons. I'm I'm okay doing this. Just that switch of thinking totally opened things up for me. And I actually stopped getting drained. I used to like literally feel like I needed a nap when I was about to do something that felt scary. And it was because I had this thought. I'm not wired for this. I don't have the energy for this. But then I replaced this thought, and this is what you want to consider is your brain is a reality generating machine. And every thought you have is literally the instruction you are giving your mind, the direction you are giving your mind about what kind of reality, what kind of truth you want to create for yourself. And so I don't have the energy for this. I'm not wired for this. I don't have what it takes to do this is not the kind of reality I want to create. I want to create the reality where, hey, I have the energy for this. Fuck this. I was born for this. I was born to serve. I was born to show up. I was born to be available and to make an impact and change the world. The moment I started changing the way I thought, a lot of my reaction shifted. So whenever you feel drained, whenever you feel closed up, whenever you feel in resistance, ask yourself, what's the thought that is behind me that I need to let go of? What's the belief that's behind this that I need to let go of? That is literally creating this reality of me feeling drained, me feeling frustrated, me feeling overwhelmed, me feeling in resistance. And there's two ways. You'll hear me say that all the time. Strategy and energy, they're the two wings of a bird. You can't take off and you can't soar without both. You can deal with the strategy at some point. But at first, you better check and make sure that is it the strategy or is it what you're telling yourself that is actually creating the results that are showing up in your life, and figuring out what you need to let go of. I think that's it. I'm going to just leave you with, don't forget that I've got that retreat coming up in about a month, 6 weeks, and it's going to be a client overflow retreat, and it's literally going to marry energy and strategy. I'm going to take you some deep energetic work to attract client, to magnetize client, to release what's holding you back and what's keeping you small. And I'm going to give you some really tangible strategy to get people to raise their hands and know that these people are your ideal clients, so that you can reach out to them and start making not only a real impact in the world, but some real money as well. If that feels exciting to you, if that feels like it would be aligned with what you want to experience, then put #retreat. It's going to be probably on a Saturday during the day, full day, and it's going to be free. So, there is no reason for you to not be here if you are a spiritually conscious, soulful, service-based entrepreneur, because I've literally designed this for you. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you're here and you haven't said hi, say hi to me. Let me know you watched this. Let me know where you're watching this from, and I will respond. By the way, if you've got questions, if you want to collaborate with me, if you want to connect with me, if you want to figure out how we could support each other or partner in any ways, reach out to me in Messenger. I absolutely love connecting with people. This isn't just about me selling to you. If I have something you need and I can help you and you want to work with me, by all means. Right now, my one-on-one is full, but at some point it'll be open enough, and I'm going to have a group program start early fall, so that's going to be available. But I just love to connect with change makers and see how we can support and collaborate. That's what social media is about. That's what changing the world is about. And so if that feels fun, if you want to sit with me for half an hour and chat about your business and chat about what's going on in your life and chat about your big vision, and connect with me, message me and let's do it. And if not, put hashtag retreat in the comments and I will send you the details when everything is all lined up. I'll put you on the list. All right, thank you so much for joining me. If you have questions, ask them. I always go back on these lives and answer questions or say hi. And again, do not be shy. Do not be rude either. Say hi to me if you see this, whether you're live, whether you're watching this in a replay. Bye, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend.